It is done.
Good news, everyone!
After 3.5 years, I finally sat down and watched Toy Story 4. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie by any means. The bulk of my disappointment stems from not the contents of the movie itself, but its existence. I do not like stories past happily ever after. I do not like it, especially when the predecessor that came before you ended so beautifully, so perfectly. I couldn't have asked for a better ending. But when Biff Disney wants their money, you had best run them pockets.
How much money you got on you?
Well,
Lasseter explained that Pixar decided to produce the sequel because of their pure passion for the series, and that the film would be a love story. He felt that Toy Story 3 ended Woody and Buzz's story with Andy so perfectly that for a long time, Pixar never even talked about doing another Toy Story film. But when Andrew P. Lee and I came up with this new idea, I just could not stop thinking about it. I could really sense your guys' passion during the over 10-year wait it took between Toy Story 2 to Toy Story 3. And the initial deal that Disney had with Pixar, for whatever the reason, Pixar didn't want to do Toy Story 3. I don't know why. I don't know the outer particulars of it. They just didn't want to do it. It wasn't until Disney outright bought the entire company of Pixar that we even got this. And under the circumstances of how long it took to make this happen, a period of over 10 years, and you still managed to create a movie that is as good as the previous two, if not better in some respects, damn impressive.
Most impressive.
I can't say the same for 4 though.
And another thing, Woody asked you for help on your mark, and he treats you like that? Get set! He only cares about himself. No! You're wrong.
No, she's right.
Listen, light snack. You stay away from Andy. He's mine, and no one is taking him away from me. You are a toy!
For how much longer? One more rip and Andy's done with me. And what do I do then, Buzz, huh? You tell me.
Somewhere in that pat of stuffing is a toy who taught me that life's only worth living if you're being loved by a kid.
You heard that? That right there was the integral piece de resistance of the first 3 Toy Stories. That was the main idea. That was the core fundamental purpose of each and every single toy we came across. In 4, however, that creed isn't worth the ink it's printed with. Let's talk about Bonnie. Bonnie is a far different kid than Andy was, of course. She has her particulars, she has her own personality, she has her own way of doing things and playing with her toys. But for some reason, unexplained reason, she just stops playing with Woody as much as everyone else. He gets closeted 3 times. There's no explanation for it other than he's just not being picked. We see her play with him 1 time.
You think you can take care of him for me?
You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead.
mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Traitor!
Andy would never. Andy would never. I wish I might sell any of my toys to these kids. These kids cannot be trusted. They don't know how to play. They don't know how to play. They don't know how to be kids. They're too busy. All they want to do is floss and crank 90s. If someone said right now, do you want to be a kid again? The hell to the damn no. Now, if you mean be a kid back when I was a kid, yeah. But right now, no, I'm sorry. That's a video for another day. Anyway, Woody sees what's going on. He feels useless. He doesn't have a place anymore amongst anyone. They even have a new toy leader, basically, since they're not Bonnie's toys originally. She just got them. So they already have an in-house leader. So he can't even be that. He just doesn't know what to do with himself. So he instead decides to help Bonnie on her first day of school by giving her these supplies, and she makes Forky. And if Woody wasn't already washed up, he's definitely washed right now. Forky is her end-all be-all toy. Forky is centered around everything that Bonnie does. Hey, wait a minute. This sounds familiar. This sounds very familiar. Didn't we see this before?
Strange things are happening to me.
I was made to help a child. I don't remember it being this hard.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
The only difference is you weren't being replaced by a damn spork, a kitchen utensil trash, recycling. I'd be having an existential crisis too if I were a toy and I got replaced by literal garbage. I think it's nice that they went the direction of showing, well, if a kid creates a toy, would that toy then have sentience if they perceive it as a toy? I like that that got explored, but I think they did Woody a disservice here. And them recycling Woody's story arc again unnecessarily for him to be going through this whole, oh, I don't know where my place is and this and well, we've seen you do this 2 different movies, but Toy Story has been recycling the same plot. As good as these movies have been, they've been doing the same thing every single movie. Every single movie is about getting home. Get lost, come home. Get lost, come home. Get lost, come home. Every single movie has been that way. This one here, it's just Woody getting all in his damn feelings because he feels useless as ever, and then abandons his previous creed of making Bonnie happy. You have her name underneath your foot and you just leave. Yeah, you're not being played with, but what happens one day and Bonnie's like, where's my cowboy doll? I don't think she even asked that or even noticed when he was gone, which is even worse, which I think Bonnie needs to be in timeout. This is just disrespect for Woody. But eventually she should notice someone's missing and you're not there. You abandoned your post. And for what? So you can go and live a life separate from the toys that you had basically spent the last 2 decades with? You've been through so much with these guys and you just, oh, bye-bye, Bo Peep is here. She found her moving buddy in that other movie. Remember that? She was ready to throw you to the curb for Buzz. And going back to the whole Woody being selfish thing, I think it was cool that he exhibits some weaknesses or some character faults, as most of us do. No one's perfect, and I guess that would apply to toys in this universe. But he learned from it and he grew from it, only to redo the same selfish acts again, only this time way worse. He puts everyone's life in jeopardy over a damn spork. When they went into that antique house, they got absolutely wrecked and dumpstered. They got fodderized in there. He straight up blew the plan 2 to 3 different occasions and ruined it. Didn't the sheep lose a damn foot? The sheep foot came off. That other toy got swallowed. Buzz was over here getting hands put on him by those damn dummies. Everybody was getting hands left and right. And this man Woody said, oh, we got to go back in there to get Sporky. They look at him like, what the fuck? Did that snake in your boot go in your damn head? What's the matter with dude? We out. We out of here. And what does Bo Peep do? Bo Peep just later in the movie decides, you gotta love him for it. Goes back to see Woody for no other reason than the movie is about to end. Far too circumstantial for me. And the highlight of the entire movie was Gabby's character. Excellent character. But the ironic part is that Gabby's entire motivation was to gain the attention and adoration of this girl right here. Going home with her and being her toy. When this girl rejects her, she feels as if all hope is lost. She doesn't have a purpose. Everything she strived for has been rendered moot. But yet Woody can tell Gabby, there's plenty of kids out there. They're waiting on you. They just don't know it yet. He tries to pawn her off on Bonnie, saying, she's waiting on you. No, she's not. She's waiting on Sporky. You should know that better than anyone. Gabby can accept the affection and the attention from a whole entire different kid she never even thought of or had any reason to do so up until this point. She can do that, but Woody can't. Woody, for as far as we've known, has had Andy, and that's it, Bonnie. And Gabby is as old as he is. They're from the 50s. Woody had to have had multiple owners before this. You've had decades, but yet we don't know anything about that. And Woody just ups and leaves. He couldn't take his own advice. And then they had this whole Buzz inner voice thing, which I don't see what was the purpose of that. It wasn't really that funny. It wasn't interesting. They just had to give Buzz something to do. They ran out of story for Buzz. When was Buzz going to be the main character? I heard in Toy Story 3, the first initial concepts of it was Buzz Lightyears get recalled and then Buzz gets shipped back or something, and then they have to go and get Buzz. Why couldn't Buzz be the main character? It's just been so centered around Woody, and I love Woody. I have a Jessie doll. I have a Buzz Lightyear doll. I have most of them. I treat them with the same damn respect as my Transformer figurines. I tuck my Megatron in bed every night. I probably said too much right there. I said too much. Don't judge me.
Hey champ, that's really interesting. Next time, keep it to yourself.
I just would have liked to have seen a different story than the one they presented. Some people may watch this and say, it's an animated movie. You're looking so much into an animated movie. An animated movie that was nominated for Best Picture. I think Toy Story 3 was. A lot of these are amazingly great stories that people of all ages can watch, not just kids. And it's even more so true when you take into consideration the fact that the median age that saw Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4 was like 30. It's really damn cool that you have multiple generations grow up on the same characters and they can interact with each other about it and talk to each other about it. It's a part of hundreds of millions of different people's childhoods, both young and older. So that's great. But this movie, to me, just didn't need to exist. I'm very strict when it comes. You couldn't have me as the studio head. Some movies I would just not green light. If I love the original and I don't see any way, shape, or form there can be another one made, you will not get greenlit. I'm sorry. You can get the rights sold to someone else, but not my project. It will not have my name attached to it. On principalities, I just can't. One of the commandments to storytelling, in my opinion, is that if you're going to do a sequel or sequels, there has to be a story to tell that complements the originals and can also stand alone on its own. If it can't do that, then I don't see a point of it being here. This was a great movie. It had some really absolutely just tear-jerking moments. I enjoyed watching it. Solid B. But when we compare it to the predecessors, who were all perfect, if not very close to perfect, it just doesn't add up as much. It just seems more as a cash grab to me. A very great cash grab, though. If all cash grabs were as good as this, I wouldn't be so angry and I wouldn't be complaining as much as I do. But, you know, to each their own. What did you think about the movie? Did you like it? Do you think I'm a little too critical of it? Did you not like it? Tell me what you think below. What other movies do you think I should talk about? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much. I will see you on the next one.